If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I want to get back to kissing the cheeks of my grandbabies, making Sunday dinner with a house full of family and lots of laughs.
COVID-19 has changed how we live and how we feel. But now, there are vaccines. And they are the very first step that let us get back to what we miss most. It's okay to have questions.
Is it safe?
Should I wait?
Now, get the facts. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision when vaccines are available to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
News outlets will cover stories differently, but the Black Information Network is fundamentally different. A 24/7 all-news network of writers, anchors, and producers with the goal of keeping you informed about what's happening in the Black community. BINnews.com, bringing you news you can trust. Download the iHeartRadio app now and listen to the Black Information Network anytime, anywhere.
I sure will. Good morning, everybody. You're listening to The Voice. Come on, dig me now. One and only Steve Harvey got a radio show. I was talking with my wife, and she said something her father always used to tell her. Pop Bridges used to tell her all the time. Just because you can do something don't mean you should do it. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've had to learn that in my life. You know, just because you can do something does not necessarily mean you should do it. You know, I could tell people off oftentimes, but it don't mean I should do it. You know, I could go here and set the record straight a lot of times, but it don't mean I should do it. Well, I've learned a lot in that lesson, folks. And because I have a relationship with my Creator, what it's done is it's allowed me to learn even more how to stay still on a lot of issues that's troubling me. It's taught me over the years. I've learned it the hard way. I do want you to understand that sometimes it's better to be still. Sometimes it's better to just let God handle a situation. That's hard to say. Man, I know it's hard to say because we think as people, but if I do this, I would feel better. If I do this, they would know it's coming from me. If I do this, now they'll feel how I feel. See, but that's not always the best way, though, I've found in my life. See, sometimes you got to, like old people used to say, you got to let go and let God. Sometimes you got to do that. I'm going to tell you something, man. I learned a lot from my mother being a Sunday school teacher. But you know, at the same time, when I was young, I thought she was just an old person just talking to me. I didn't get it. You know how you talk, you know, how your parents used to talk to you and you didn't get it? And they used to always say, well, wait till you have your own kids. You'll get it then. And sure enough, you got it then. Well, I'm the same way. I'm no different. You know, I don't have no different life than you. You know, I have no different upbringing than you. I don't have no different ways that I can live and you can't. You know, I got to live by the same laws of the land that you got to live by. I got to obey the principles of success. If I want to be successful, I got to obey them. And, you know, and if I want to go to heaven, I got to do what God tell me to do as many times as I can. Now, you ain't going to get it all right, but he understand that. And I just get on with the best I can. But so many times, man, we get stuck. We get stuck right there, man, worrying about, you know, how it's going to come across. And what I'm kind of going around here because I'm trying to find a way to tell you this, that you won't get twisted. The bottom line, you got to let go and let God. You have to allow him to do it his way. See, my way, I thought myself to a certain point, but to go further, I had to let God have it. You know, I found out I wasn't all that good a driver. I found out I wasn't all that good of a explorer with a map. I found out my compass skills was oftentimes a little bit off. I found out that my map reading skills wasn't what I thought it was. So I had to let go. I had to let God. And you got to understand that God works in mysterious ways. You know, and how often had I thought it was over for me? But what God was doing was he was teaching me a lesson. He was showing me something that I needed to know. He was allowing me to experience some things, but he didn't let me go under. You know how they say God will never put more on you than you can bear? He won't let you go under. But he did not say, it's like the scripture that Bishop Olmer taught me when I was going through that traumatic thing on the internet, man. It was really, really, man, trying to destroy what I had worked for and my family and this new life that God had presented me. And the devil is busy. The devil don't like to see you happy. So here he comes. He puts you under attack. And here comes the internet and everything, and my kids are suffering. But, here comes God, though. See, God don't put more on you than you can bear. And Bishop Olmer sent me a scripture. He sent me Isaiah 43, 1 and 2. And in that scripture, it says to the effect that you can walk through the waters, the rivers, and the water won't overcome you. But then it said you can walk through the fire and you will not get burned, nor will kindling set upon your clothing. I learned something very valuable that day. See, God sent me through something, but he was showing me something too. Now, he didn't do it. See, God didn't bring that calamity into my life because in Isaiah 54:17, it says clearly that if anyone comes against you, it will not be my doing. But this is what he promised you when people come for you, though. See, and this is what I learned. That's why I have no fear of the people coming anymore. See, because I learned that. But God had to send me through a traumatic experience in order for me to learn that. See, you can't have a testimony without a test. You know what I'm saying? You can't learn nothing without a lesson. See, so what he did was he allowed that internet thing come across into my life, but he taught me something. And Isaiah 43, 1 and 2 was, and you can walk through the fire and not get burned, nor will kindling set upon your clothing. So what that said to me was, even though you trying to do me and there's fire all around me, I won't burn. But when it's over, kindling won't set upon your clothing. What that showed me was, and what it taught me was, not only will I walk through the fire and not get burned, but there will be no signs that I was ever in the fire. There's no signs of it. But now hold up, though. Now, here go the part, though, that I had to learn. Even though you can walk through the fire, y'all, and even though you're being flames is scorching all around you, if you trust him, he ain't going to let you burn. But now hear what he did not say, though. He did not say that it was not going to be uncomfortably hot, wickedly hot in there. He didn't say that. He just said you won't burn. And when it's over, it won't be no kindling on your clothes. It won't be no signs that you was in the fire. See, what happened to me was after they tried to destroy me, let me show you what God did for me. Not only did they not accomplish what they set out to do, but when they was through with me, though, when they was through throwing the gas and throwing the fire and throwing the hate and writing it and lying and creating all these names for themselves so it could look like more people was hating, when they got through with all that, look at me. Man, look what he did to me. Look what he did for me. Because he taught me something that day. And I'm sharing it with you because God will do the same thing for you. But you got to trust him, though. You got to get in there and you got to let him do it. You got to let him handle it. So just like Pop Bridges taught my wife Marjorie, just because you can do something don't mean you ought to do something. Yeah, you could go down there and straighten them out, but should you, though? Yeah, you can go down there and tell them off. Yeah, you can go down and stand up and make sure they know it's your voice that they hearing. And you can get in their face and make a scene. But should you, though? Or should you let go and let God? See? So before we run all out in the streets and somebody that we form in these groups and somebody go out there and do something crazy, let's hold tight. Now, I'm not saying don't go out there, but you got to watch who you go out there with. Because somebody crazy. You can go down there with peace in your heart. Somebody decide, I'm going to throw a brick through here and bust a window. Hold up, partner. Hold up. That ain't what we down here doing. So see, sometimes, man, you got to let go and you got to let God. You got to let God have situations sometimes. And you get in there and do the things that he tell you to do. See, Bishop Olmer taught me a lot. He had another book out and he said, Knowing God's Voice or something like that. I'm not sure the title. But I never really knew the definition of how do you know it's God's voice talking to you? Well, he clearly made a statement. God's voice has no sin in it. See, anything you talking about, whenever you talking about, I'm going to show him, I'm going to get him back, I'm going to write a letter and I'm going to tell him down at his job. If it's sin in it, God ain't in it. See, that's you now. God's voice has no sin in it. So when you say, God told me, be careful, because God ain't never told you to go do nothing wrong. That ain't what he told you. And I learned that too. It's a lot. So I'm just sharing today. I hope it helps somebody today get through a difficult time, because the show has helped me. And I'm just talking to myself now because I got another one I'm looking at. I'm dealing with it, though. I'm all good. Please know.
News outlets will cover stories differently, but the Black Information Network is fundamentally different. A 24/7 all-news network of writers, anchors, and producers with the goal of keeping you informed about what's happening in the Black community. BINnews.com, bringing you news you can trust. Download the iHeartRadio app now and listen to the Black Information Network anytime, anywhere.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear, because for years he's only said...